All right, so here's our next part. The next thing that we're going to develop is we're going to create our bearer bars. So making a bearer bar is pretty easy overall, whereas it's essentially just a big fat wide line. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this, we're going to go over to our line segment tool. In some instances, the line segment tool is actually behind the rounded rectangle. Depends on how yours is set up. So if you don't see the line segment tool in your toolbar, just go look behind your shape tools and you'll find it. All right, so for right now, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go right up to we're really gonna look for that edge of the document. And you notice that when I place my cursor on the edge of the document, it says page. And that indicates to me that if I start drawing here, it's gonna draw right at the edge of the page, and that's what I want. So I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag down. Now notice that I can, and I still have the button, my mouse clicked, but as I'm dragging down, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold Shift on my keyboard, and when I hit Shift, you'll see that it goes straight, and that's exactly what I want, and we're gonna take it down to the bottom of the document. Again, seeing page pop up when my cursor is over the edge of the document. And then I'm gonna release my mouse, then I'm gonna release Shift on the keyboard. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go back to my selection tool, and I'm gonna make sure that the line I just created is selected, and mine is. All right, so we're gonna change the color of the bear bar. It is black right now. We're gonna make it a very special color called registration color. So registration color, so I just made the stroke registration color. And whenever I need to change the color of an object, I like to come up here to the control bar. The item on the left is going to be our fill, and the option on the right is going to be our stroke. So this is the inside and this is the outline. You can kind of think of it that way. So I chose the registration color. And this is the one that looks like a little registration mark. Now the thing to understand about this is that, okay, it still looks black, right? But the difference between this is that if I had multiple colors in my artwork, anything that's in registration color will be in the exact same place on the different plates. So I need my bear bars to be in the same place on my plates, so that's why I chose that color. Now also, up in the control bar, I'm going to go and make the stroke bigger. And I'm going to choose 4 points, and you'll notice that makes it fatter. And then what I'm going to do is I want to have a little white strip in the middle of it. And that little white strip in the middle of it makes mounting the plate straight easier, and it's a good point of reference whenever we're wrapping the plate around the cylinder. So I'm going to put that little white stripe in. And the way I'm going to do it, I still have my line selected. I'm going to go to Edit Copy, and I'm going to go to Edit Paste in Front. And when I do that, now there are 2 registration colored lines right on top of each other that are both 4 points wide. Doesn't look like anything happened, but that's because they're right on top of each other. So what I'm going to do is change the stroke color of the one that's on top, which is the one that is currently selected. And I'm just going to change that color to white. Makes it look like both of them go away, but remember that they're right on top of each other. And then I'm going to bring my stroke down from 4 points to 1 point. And now you can see I've got that white stripe going down the middle of it. All right, the last thing I'm going to do to finish off my bear bar is I got my black selection tool here. I'm going to just drag over the 2 lines like so. And what that does is selects both of them. And we're going to group those 2 items together, object, group. All right, so now if I click it and I move it, it selects both of them. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I need 2 of these. I need one on each side. So I'm going to copy it, edit, copy, and I'm going to go to edit, paste. I can go to paste or paste in front. Either way, I'm just going to hit paste. And so, and when I hit paste, it just puts it right in the middle. And I'm just going to move it over to the right side. Now the thing that's really important is that that it lines up with the top and the bottom of the page like so. All right, now the placement from the die cut, is it doesn't have to be crucial. Like, it doesn't have to be an exact 1/8 of an inch from a die cut. It doesn't have to be. But, you know, it just needs to be near it. It needs to be near it, but I would say it does need to be at least 1/8 of an inch from the cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this one on the left side, and I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard and just kind of nudge it a little bit closer so that it's it's being right about there is good. This one, maybe I'll nudge it in about 1 or so, and that looks pretty good. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, just in the ballpark about 1/8 of an inch or maybe a little bit more. So I've got them on both sides. They're looking good. Oh man, you know what I haven't done? I have not saved my file. Probably a good idea to do that. So we're just going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to name it something so that it's particular to me. So whenever I name something, I usually like to start with my initials. So I'm just going to go ZLB, and then I'll say what class it's for, and this would be Flexo 1. And then next, I would probably just put something to be able to identify it. And this is going to be used in your project 1. So then I'll go to Project 1. And I really can't encourage you guys enough to go ahead and get in a habit of naming things a little bit more elaborately. Like, don't just, first off, don't leave it as untitled document. Please don't do that. But also, don't just name it Project 1. Because we are going to be using some of the same computers. Some of our files are going to be on the same computers. And the thing is if you just name it Project 1, it'll get confusing. This is just going to help you, like getting into a habit of this is going to help you down the road, just stay a lot more organized. Because on top of it too, I mean, this is Project 1 for this class, but you know, if you go through a file structure like how I'm doing it here, you'll always stay organized pretty easily. Even if everything just goes to your desktop, you'll be able to know what class it's for and what project or assignment it is. And we'll also know that it's yours. We would identify the file as yours without having to even open it. Another thing we're going to do is just make sure that the format for right now is Adobe Illustrator.ai. And I hit save. And OK. All right. So this is probably a good place to pause and start a different recording.